The friggin' ringmaster. I knew he was an evil entity and wanted to wreak havoc in the games room. Sure enough, this is his doing. Welcome back there, Ringy. You've been a bad boy. You've been causing all kinds of havoc for me. Alright, I have some news to report. I have taken the ringmaster's nuts and screws off and popped the magnet out. And boys and girls, I think we found our problem. Okay, 3 days have culminated in this possible moment of success. Please, 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 please don't reset. What? Oh my god, it fucking happened again. I'll be back, Ringmaster. I will be back, and I will win this battle. Maybe. I'm Mike Dimas, and this is Pinball Shenanigans. Voltaire strikes back. So, finally moved Cirqus Voltaire into the main room to be played. And just on the weekend we were playing it. And in the middle of a game it reset. So that's the first time that's happened on this machine. So just for a quick fix, I installed one of the CHAR, spelled K-H-A-R, reset boards. I think they're here. Yeah, here we go. WPC Power Fix daughter board. And I really should read up the material on that, but I'm pretty sure that just reroutes where the MPU gets its power from, so it doesn't have to rely on a real tight 5-volt circuit. I think it borrows, you know, the 12. It might steal it from like a 12-volt power source. I don't know the details, but it's a kind of a band-aid scenario. It's not like a true fix. So I popped in the daughter board and playing away, and then later on in the evening we noticed that there were no solenoids. So solenoid fuse had blown. And that is a good old fun mini fuse with a 6.3 amp value. Do I have those in stock? Hell no. I did find a 5 amp fast blow fuse, so I popped it in there. I wasn't expecting a whole lot, and it must have blown because solenoids are still not working. So I can guess I could demonstrate the non-functionality of things just for S and G's. Let's power this guy on. And also another kind of weird thing is during tracked mode, Ringmaster would just kind of occasionally pop up and down. It didn't seem right though. Like, I don't think he's supposed to do that during a tracked mode. So I don't know what it all means, but on this episode I'm going to try and figure out what the F is going on. So question is, are the two incidences, the reset and the fuse blowing, are they related, or are they completely separate entities? So if this reset board is borrowing from a 12-volt line, and that fuse is part of that 12-volt circuit, and I'm straining that 12 volts by borrowing from it, it could be related. Does that make any sense? We'll hit the start button.
Welcome to Cirqus Voltaire.
No ball getting served up here. Yeah. We got, we may have flippers. No, not even flippers. Okay. And what's another solenoid over here? Oh, sneaky lock. Cute. Slingshots. So we got nothing. And I'm going to try and figure out WTF is going on. So, do a little research, do a little investigating. There's a few things that I can check. See? There's Ringy. I think he's just like sad that he hasn't gotten smashed in the face in a bit, so he's like looking for balls or something. Isn't that weird? I find that weird. So, hey, it could be a bad diode on a flipper. Could be connectors on the driver board need to be redone. The AC voltage going in. May need to redo male and female headers and connectors. I may have a bad bridge. So these are all the things I'm going to have to look at and see if we can narrow this down. So, see what we can figure out. Okay, here's the layout of the driver board here. And it was F108 that blew. And if you go down here, you see that it is solenoid secondary, 6.3 amp, 250 volt. They forgot the V. So, this is that fuse. And what is that? Yep, 6.3 amps. So that was correct. And yeah, so that's what we're looking at here. I'm going to check the flipper diodes. There's just so many things that it could be. I got to start somewhere. Okay, just do a visual inspection here. Looks to be okay. I'll test them with the multimeter, but I think in order to test them properly, I'm going to have to remove them. But no visible breaks in the legs. Why is there gel coming out of the solenoid there? It looks like it's dripping on to the diode. What is that all about? Let's check my plunger. Is this going through okay? That seems fine, but is that just like a little bit of remnants of flux from somebody's soldering job? That's probably all that is. But yeah, I'm not convinced that it is a diode. Okay, I did put a multimeter and diode test on the diodes, but you can't test them in circuit like that for the flippers. You gotta actually remove a leg. But like I said, I'm not convinced it's flipper diode, so I'm moving on. And sure enough, the fuse that I stuck in blew up in some pretty significant fashion there. It is black. But now I'm starting to recall a couple things about this driver board. Well, this capacitor has been replaced. Maybe not a very good job either. And if you look closely here, these couple diodes have been replaced as well. So from what I understand, on WPC 95 games, they stopped using like the square bridge rectifiers and they just used 4 diodes instead. They breathe better, they don't heat up as much, and that was, I guess, a design change that they went with. So instead of 4 diodes in a bridge, you just get 4 diodes outside of a bridge. And I think I have to check out the schematics and see if these and these are related, because I think one set of 4 is related to one of these guys, another set of 4 is related to another set of 4, another, and another set of 4, another. So I'm going to suspect, just going out on a limb here, I'm going to guess that this fuse here, it says unregulated 12 volts solenoid, maybe it's these 4 guys here, but I'm going to guess that this might have something to do with it. And has this one been replaced? It's kind of hard to tell. But this is very suspect. Okay, so I've been doing some research for the last half an hour at least, and not really getting much further ahead. A couple different times people mentioned it is general illumination, and I should remove all the bulbs on that circuit and slowly replace them until the fuse blows. But I think those incidents where people mention that, I think they're thinking that is WPC 89 and not WPC 95, because they are different. And then the one guy's like, oh yeah, I read that wrong. That's don't go up that alley. So I started going down that rabbit hole and then immediately pulled out. So I did find this handy WPC 95 schematics manual in my stash. And here is F108 fuse. Is it? Or is that 109? Nope, that's 108. And so we've got a couple connectors here, J128. We got J119, J133, bunch more fuses. So I'm tempted to like remove these connectors and then put in a fuse and then turn it on and see what happens. But what I did instead for now is I made a post on Pinball Repair Help Group, because I'm sure there's a nice systematic way to approach this. Oh, I also did try to test a couple of those big diodes on the board, and I don't know that it was very conclusive. So this is where I'm going to consult the experts, and hopefully they can kind of guide me and tell me step by step what is the best way to tackle this. I researched a lot of different information. I don't have my mouse down here. And no, there was no real conclusive, I just typed in F108 fuse blowing WPC 95. There's a few kind of tangents that I went on that were not conclusive. One guy said his pop bumper lamp wiring was touching a solenoid or something only when the ball went into ball search, not enough when the pop bumper was firing to cause the fuse to blow. So that sounds horrible, trying to track something like that down. Anyway, before I just go all willy-nilly searching around everywhere and anywhere, I'm gonna see what kind of replies I get from this post and then go from there. Okay, it's been like, I don't know, a week or a week and a half since I removed the back box here on this Cirqus Voltaire. I made a post. I do have a little bit of information that has been provided, some troubleshooting measures. I also talked to Shane Jackson of Maple Pinball today and told him what was going on, and he said, it sounds like you have a short, and it is probably a bridge rectifier. Since WPC 95 boards don't actually have bridge rectifiers, they have diodes in series. Shane told me that I should run my multimeter in continuity test and check all the diodes and see if any of them buzz. If any of them buzz, then that's bad, because just for fun, let's show you what I did here. We got good fuse. There's a bad fuse. But unfortunately, it wasn't that simple. I checked all these. None of them buzz out. And you can't really test these in circuit, which is sad, because that would be a nice and easy way to do things. So I think what I'm going to do is remove the cardboard. I honestly did, like I said, the first couple clips of this video so long ago that I don't even remember what the hell I said. But this is what I'm going to do. Okay. Then I'm going to, this is the cardboard, 2016. This should not be the culprit, but I'm going to pull it out just to rule that out. I do need to repin these as well. That will probably help the reset issue, which is why this is in there. But beyond that, and more importantly, this fuse is the bigger problem at hand. Now it looks like that's been reflowed or replaced. I think I probably covered that in the first clip or two. But anyway, let's pop in a new fuse now that this is removed, turn on the machine, and see what happens. Okay, it's supposed to be a 6.3 slow blow, I believe. But I only have a, well, I do have the 6.3s, but I don't want to blow them up. So I am going to sacrifice potentially this 5 amp time delay, which I believe means slow blow. So going to stick that in here. Well, I'm going to try to stick that in here. Okay, there we go. And turn off the flash. See what happens here when I power this on. Instant blown. Okay. That does reek of bridge rectifier diode, doesn't it? So I guess I'm going to have to investigate a little further here. Maybe pull out the board. But yeah, that's not cool, man. Okay, I want to give a shout out to Larry Hammer. This guy is so helpful and so knowledgeable. And he provided a bunch of information on my post here. And there wasn't a whole lot of activity on my post because it's such a, I don't know, probably not a very common issue. It's pretty specific. But Larry says when F108 blows, it's usually one of the diodes or something plugged into J130 or 131. So I just checked, and nothing plugged in there. So we can rule that out. So that's a good thing. So next thing is to unplug anything plugged in on those connectors and see if the fuse still blows. If so, it is one of the diodes that is shorted or something else shorted on that board. Okay, so I'm going to disconnect all those, throw in another fuse, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so I got those connectors unplugged, and looks like flipper power. We're disconnecting that to rule out any bad flipper solenoids or diodes. And the other connector is flasher solenoids. So these two guys here. So that's gonna disable all the flashers and solenoids, so we're gonna rule them out. And then J135 actually is hiding here. That doesn't have anything in it, so didn't need to remove that. And we got nothing in those guys. So remove J19, 133, 134, 135, 130, and 131. All are now disconnected. So if it still blows the fuse, then we have to blame one of these diodes, which is D19 through 22. And where is D19? Right here, 19, 20, 21, and 22. Look at that. D22 looks like it's been reflowed too, so, or replaced maybe. So these are our suspects. I got in a new fuse. If I power this on and the fuse blows, we may have found our issue. So kind of hoping it blows because that really narrows things down. Here goes nothing. Hey, it's kind of good. I think we've narrowed things down. All right, so I had to pull the board out because I think the plan of attack is to replace these 4 diodes that technically make up that kind of quote-unquote bridge rectifier. I called Shane Jackson, and that was his suggestion. So I'm going to go with that. And for the resetting issue, probably going to replace these 3 headers. I'll do the male side and I'll do the female side. This is all the power going in. If you're going to have reset issues, this is the first thing to do, according to people that know shit. That's not my advice. That is straight from my board repair guy from Shane Jackson, who owns like around 80 machines right now. And so the guy who had this machine before me, he knew a thing or two about pinball machines and board repair, and I can see that looks like he replaced this header, maybe did some reflowing, maybe reflowed that header, maybe he reflowed all the headers. Actually, you know, see, compared to how nice and silver that is, this is like a little more yellow, so that's like leftover flux. So yeah, at some point, all those were reflowed. And check this out. That is one of the 4 diodes that we're going to replace. And another couple diodes were replaced. Some more reflowage. And this is quite the handiwork here. That is this capacitor that was replaced. What is the value on that anyway? 35 volt, 10,000 microfarads, which is the same as the others, except it's just a little bigger. But that is not of concern at the moment. Those have all been reflowed. We have a transistor that was replaced. And what is that? I'm not sure what that is. But anyway, definitely some work has been done to this thing. I'm hoping that I can just get this sorted. Don't really want to have to send it to Brent to give it a full and true overhaul and save myself a couple $100. So, busted out the schematics. Here's the fuse right here, F108. These are, it's the power going in. It goes through the fuse, goes to these 4 diodes. 19, 20, 21, 22. They're P600Ds. So, hopefully I have those in stock. I don't even know if I do, but don't matter. I'm going to remove them and try not to pull any traces. Okay, good news is that I got the diodes removed and did not appear to do any damage. Tried to clean up any flux with some isopropyl alcohol. But the bad news is that all these test just fine. So that is a little bit sad. 6 amp. Not a whole lot of info on these, is there? 6A2. 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 What are they supposed to be again? Where am I? P600D. But I guess these are probably correct. Anyway, so now I'm at a bit of a loss. The only other thing really in this circuit is this C22 capacitor, and I guess this resistor, R188. C22 is right here. It looks to be okay. And, oh, R188. Maybe I'll test that, but not so sure that I'm barking up the right tree here, but I'll just keep on barking. Okay, so here's where I am at. Larry Hammer said in his post that If it does not blow the fuse and there was anything plugged in to J130 and 131, plug that back in and see if that happens. Okay, that's null and void. If it still does not blow, take a look at fuses F15 through 17, 15, 16, 17, I think 14, 15, 16, 17 here. And F102 to 104, which is 101, 2, 3, and 4. Take a look at those fuses. If it is something on one of those circuits, one of those fuses should blow before 108 blows. So that made me think, okay, what if one of these fuses was incorrect and has the improper over amped fuse in it? Then this would not blow, causing that to blow. I don't know if that train of thought makes sense or not, but I went ahead and checked. I removed every of these fuses. Actually, I didn't do that one, to see if they were overamped. They were all the correct amperage. They're all 4 amps. So then, just for fun, I did the continuity test on every diode again, one more time. These guys, I think all that's general illumination. Nothing. Oh, shit. Then I remember reading something about this like quick and dirty transistor test. So you put your meter on tone, and then you put one lead on like ground here, and then you rake across the transistors. Hey, we got a tone, but all the tip 136C large transistors do the same. So I figure those are probably fine. Going across all of these and checking these guys. Houston, we have a problem. That, my friends, is a short. That is Q82. That's far, far away. Q82. So I don't like putting this board like this on the capacitor. It's big and fat and sticks out. So Q82, I believe, is here. I don't know if you can hear that, but that is a short. You check, you compare with the other transistors. Hold on, that's just me. That's just me. And that doesn't happen on the other transistors. Okay, totally lost it. Where is it? Here? No, here. Here. Anyway, okay, so have a look at this. We'll put this in actual diode test. I think it is this guy here. 1.4. Oh, I'll get that wrong. Let's try this. That is a correct reading. Okay? Now we go to the other side. That is a correct reading. That is good. And that is good. I think this is our suspect transistor. That side is good. This side is not. So, I'm assuming this is related. There's a chance it may not be, but Q83 transistor is shorted. I believe that's what that means. The one side of it is shorted. And next thing to do is Q82. Not 83. I gotta go look it up and see what it actually does. Alright, I got my manual out here. This should be the right page. We need to look up Q82. Q72 up there. So over here. Q13 to Q72. Okay, what about down here? Q1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where the F is it? Okay. what am I missing here? Well, apparently, oh wait, Q 81 and 83? Come on now. Those are flipper. Well, those are all the 50-volt circuits. But what the F? How is Q82 the only one not listed here? Alright, well, I'm sure I'll find it as soon as I hit stop. So, let's do that. Okay, I literally could not find the transistor 82. Q82, 85, 88, and 91. They're just not listed. But this is all flipper stuff. This is all flipper circuit. This is the right zone anyways. So it's the ones that are not listed are literally like in between these guys. These big guys are the tip 32s. These guys are probably like tip 102s. Oh shit, kicking over my tripod. But here's the one. These are the two that are listed. These two are listed. These two are listed. These two are listed. This guy is just in betweener. In betweener, in betweener, in betweener. So I don't know why it's not listed. Maybe it's not used, but the fact that this went bad definitely is affecting these guys. I mean, maybe. No definitely's here. So it's seemingly part of the flipper circuit. So that is the 50-volt line. So I'm going to replace that transistor, although there's no friggin' documentation as to what the F it actually does. But I guess we can just sort of do the math. It is right in line, and it is the middleman. Middleman friggin' failed at his job, so I'm going to replace him. This is all right in line with what Larry said, that check the other circuits, and he said check the, you know, F115, 116, 117, 118. These are the flipper circuits that we're looking at right here. So here's these fuses. Each one of these, this guy does these guys, this guy does these guys. That's what I'm assuming, these guys. So here's an interesting observation. This top fuse here does look different than the others, doesn't it? So what if this is actually the wrong fuse? Therefore, this shorting is not blowing this, which is in turn blowing this. So the fact that it looks different than the others means it was replaced. Why was it replaced? So I'm going to pull that out again and have a closer look, and I'm going to replace this as well. Not that I have one in stock, but I'll figure something out. Alright, we got another friggin' curveball here. Remove the transistor. Did I remove the right one? Is that the problem? Yes, I did. Sadly. Because, let's see. Was it this way? No, this way. That is a good reading. And the other leg, also a good reading. So that's just weird, man. I don't know what to make of that. Sometimes they can test good but be bad, so I'll replace it anyways and see what happens. Circuit board shenanigans continue. So I thought maybe the short is somewhere else on that circuit, and I'll check the stuff beside it. So this is, can you see? The 36C transistor. Let me try and get a good reading. Here is one right here. good reading, and good reading. Here's the next one. Good reading. Good reading. Next one. Good reading. Good reading. Next one. Right beside Q82. Bad reading. Bad reading. Now, I'd like to think that the tip 36C is shorted, and because of it, it was giving a false positive on this transistor. I'm assuming that it's not going to test any differently if I have this in, right? I mean, I could try that theory. I don't know if I can pull that off, but I can try. Let's see. With that transistor still in the circuit, let's add some tension to it, just to make sure it's making continuity. See if it tests any different. Was it this way? This way? And it appears as though I still get the same reading with this in circuit, providing that that is actually making contact. So, next summary is that, or next theory is that it's actually the tip 36C that's shorted, not the tip 122. Fuse might be wrong, and blowing our 108. That's the new theory. So I'm gonna, I guess, remove this and test it out of circuit. All right, I got the tip 36C out. I'm assuming you test these just like the tip 122s out of the board. So let's see what we get. Watch it test perfect. That's not perfect. That is also not perfect. And that is not perfect. Okay. Now, as long as I'm testing that correctly, we may have found our problem. Okay, it might have been like an hour or an hour and a half since the last take, because just been busy researching and doing stuff and things. So, let me see if I can remember where I left off and what I've done. So, I did replace the tip 102 transistor, even though the one that was in there tested fine. I went looking for a tip 36C, which I found, but, you know, I tested it 10 times and I can't get one of the legs to give me a good reading. So I'm not going to go through the trouble of installing this unless I know for sure it is good. So that is on hold. I have this different fuse removed, and I went ahead and I replaced the 4 diodes, even though the old ones tested fine. I just thought, why the F not? I happen to have them. I found a little bag of 4 of them in my stash, and got them soldered in. Well, I had the board out. I replaced these 3 connectors. So that might help with my resetting issue. And I talked to Corey, and I said, why the F would a tip 36C transistor blow? And he said, well, look at the manual, you idiot. No, he didn't actually say that. He said, the ringmaster magnet is controlled by this tip 36C. And I'm thinking 2 things. Oh, I could have just looked in the manual and found that out myself. I didn't need to pester him. And 2, the friggin' ringmaster. I knew he was an evil entity and wanted to wreak havoc in the games room. Sure enough, this is his doing. So, next thing I gotta do, well, I'm probably gonna go to Corey's tomorrow and grab a tip 36C and a couple of these 4 amp fuses. And then I will put the board back in, but I'm not going to plug it in and turn it on until I thoroughly inspect the ringmaster magnet and make sure that it is okay. Corey told me to check the ohms on it, see if the magnet is shorted or, you know, what's going on with that. So slowly, but surely, things are starting to come along here. The story's starting to make sense, but we won't know what the ending holds just yet, so hang tight. Alright, while I'm at it, I might as well redo these female connectors for the power. The loopy kind, my favorite. So what I'm going to do is make Y junctions for each loop, which means I need 8 Ys. So I'm going to prep those up now. I'm going to tell you how much fun I'm having making Y connectors, Y joints. My back is thanking me. It just loves me. The exuberance of it all. It's taken me forever. Anyway, give me another 7 hours and I'll show you the finished product if I'm still awake. I think these doggies are regulars. Okay, that last clip last night I was talking about how exhausted and tired and sore my back was. That wasn't just from the act of creating little Y wires. That was because I've been working in the basement, mostly on the Cirqus Voltaire for like 6 to 8 hours it felt like. And I was getting tired, the back was getting sore. But today is another day. Here are the old connectors. All my favorite loopy connectors. And here is the finished product. I didn't bother going color matching for the connectors, but created my Y junctions here, as you can see. Added some good solder to the joint, shrink tube, extended the wires. I did that for all 3 power input connectors. So now we've got brand new female and male connectors on this board. Trifuricon terminals. Got rid of the old shitty IDC action, although they look to be in good shape, but it's always better to go Molex. So that is done. Okay, back to the driver board. So I had a tip 36C in my stash, literally one. And I was testing it and I couldn't get a good reading. But once again, that's because I'm a dum-dum and was testing it incorrectly. So this is how you test properly. Black lead on the left leg, and then red on the other 2 legs. And we get our little 6.2 voltage drop on both legs. We've got a good transistor. That is the one from my stash. So I went to Corey's kind of unnecessarily to grab another tip 36C, but that's okay. Good to have one as a backup. And the other thing I got from him, which was part of the equation too, so wasn't a wasted trip. These should be the little 4 amp fuses. I'll look off camera, but I'm sure. Yeah, think we got a 4 amp there. T4A. So that's going to go right here, and then I'll install tip 36C right here. And the one last thing Larry Hammer suggested that is in the circuit, and I think I mentioned this, is the C22 capacitor. I did check this R188 diode or resistor. I can't remember if I mentioned that or not, but that is testing fine. That's all you got in this circuit, boys and girls. You got this fuse, you got these bridges, you got R188, you got C22, and this LED. I think that's about it. So I'll check on I'll see if I have a replacement one, because, you know, while I have the board out, might as well replace it if I've got one. So that's where we're at, getting closer. All right, tip 36C is installed, tip 120, tip 102 is installed, 4 amp fuse, 4 new diodes, and a new, what is that, 5 amp fuse I think I have in there right now. If it doesn't blow, then I'll stick in the proper 6.3 amp fuse that I have. But, oh yeah, and obviously new connectors. I've spent quite a bit of time on this board, so time to finally install it. Alright, just to confirm, Q81, our tip 36C, is on the J119 connector, pin 8, red-gray wire. And it is indeed the Ringmaster magnet. I've got the board installed, nothing connected, but here's my question. Here's J19, or 119. When I was doing my testing, I had this connector removed, and the fuse still blew. So, what does that mean? Could that be this potentially faulty fuse that was here? So, I guess I'm going to maybe check on the magnet, test the ohms on it, as per Corey's recommendation. See if the magnet is, because I don't want to plug in J119 just to blow my tip 36C again, although should blow a fuse before it blows the transistor. Anyway, I'll check the magnet and, I don't know, see if it tests okay, if I can even access it. Okay, I lifted the hood and you can't access the magnet. I removed the screw and still, you can't really test the magnet. It's too in there. So I've connected the power, and that is it. So this should be telling. I think. I don't know if this will be informative or not, but I guess if a fuse blows, that'll tell us something. If it doesn't, then I guess we'll move on. Let's see what happens. Okay, we got power coming in, and we have no fuses blowing yet. So that's a good start. Maybe I'll start connecting some things and see what happens. Okay, I've got the CPU plugged in. Got some lighting plugged in. Just a few connectors. So I think the big test is going to be plugging in this guy and seeing what happens. So, all right. There's no way other to do this than to just pull off the Band-Aid. Okay, it's plugged in. I'm really praying that the tip 36C doesn't fry. So I'm just going to turn this on, and if anything looks suspicious back there, I'm going to turn it off immediately. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. No fuses are blowing. No smoke is coming out of the back box. That's a good start, I would say. Okay, next test. I've got everything plugged in except for the connectors on that circuit. J119, 133, 134, and the other connectors that Larry recommended to disconnect is 135, but I got nothing in there, and 133, 131, and 130, which I have nothing in there. So basically 3 connectors not plugged in, and everything else is plugged in. So let's turn off the lights. Ooh, that might be too dark. Actually, that's probably not horrible. Then I can see if the fuses blow up, but it'd be a little harder to see if there's smoke. So last time I did this test, the fuse blew, so let's see what happens.
Do you have any AAA batteries?
Okay, so this is promising, but the true test, well, I guess, okay, the first test will be throw in the rest of these connectors, see if anything happens, and then the final test will be run the ringmaster and see if that causes bad things to happen. So, all right, I'm gonna plug these in. Okay, I actually have an idea. I just did J119 connector. So this is what we're gonna do. Turn this on, make sure it's still good. Okay, so far so good. Now what I'm gonna do is attempt to satisfy the ringmaster. I don't have my upper speakers. Oh yeah, that's because those speakers are attached to the back box, and the back box is over there. So we're gonna throw in the balls. Check switch 16 top eddy. Okay, well that's news. Should write that one down. Okay, I'm gonna close the coin door. That is gonna actually enable the power to the driver board. So this will be very telling. I'm a little scared, but we got to do it. Okay. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Nothing bad is happening. But the ringmaster isn't going up and down. You'd think he would do his thing and find home position, but maybe the other connectors need to be plugged in. But the fact that the coin door is closed and J119 is connected and there's no fuses blowing that I noticed, that is promising. All right, I guess I'm gonna plug in the other connectors. Just did a quick test of the fuses. They are still good. I plugged in the last couple connectors. Coin door is closed. See what happens. Well, already a good sign that nothing's blown up yet. Here comes Ringmaster. This is where shit's gonna get real. Welcome back there, Ringy. You've been a bad boy. You've been causing all kinds of havoc for me. But looks like we're back in business. Okay, there's only one test left. I just play the damn thing. Oh, the audio sounds like garbage because I'm still don't have the back box installed yet. Oh, that reminds me. I must screw in all of the back box, the driver board screws before I put the back box away. But let's just give this a little bit of a play test here. We have no flippers. Why do we have no flippers? Okay, back to the drawing board. Okay, so tested the fuses and I couldn't quite figure out why the flippers are not working. I still don't know. But just for fun, I started a game, and I threw the ball into the ringmaster zone. It hit the target, which turned on the magnet, and immediately the game reset. F108 blew, and now my transistor here is testing short, so I think I blew the tip 36C. So I can definitely verify and confirm that the magnet is the issue. So I guess back to the drawing board. Several steps backwards, but I kind of know what I'm looking at now. I guess I just gotta, man, I gotta friggin' disassemble ringmaster. This is friggin' nightmare. Damn you, Voltaire. This might be a 7-hour video, but I gotta keep slogging away here. I replaced the tip 36C. This one indeed was short. Put in a proper 6.3 amp slow blow fuse in F108. I'm going to install this board, connect everything up except for the magnet, and pretty sure the fuse is not going to blow, but I'm also pretty sure I'm not going to have flippers, so we're going to cross that bridge when we get to it. Ellie, do you have any interest in what I'm doing over here? Oh, that's what I thought. She's listening to the birds. All right, board is back installed, except for this connector, which is 50 volt flippers and magnet, I think. So let's hope nothing blows. That's a good start. I didn't plug in the one GI connector because it is hard to get on and off. So I'm missing GI, but that's okay. All right, back to this phase of the drawing board. So I'm going to disable the magnet somehow. Maybe I can do it right in the settings and see if I've got flippers. Okay, I've unplugged ringmaster. This wire going up here goes up through his neck to the magnet and the flasher, and then it comes around, plugs into the motor board. Unplugged all 3 connectors. Just rather be safe than sorry. So, in theory, that tip 36C should never ever blow again. What's happening? Oh, nothing. Okay, so let's plug in that connector and start a game, close the coin door, see if I have flippers, which I guarantee I do not. Okay, I think everything is plugged in except the one GI connector, just in case I have to remove it again. It's a pain in the butt. Coin door's closed. Balls are installed. Can we start a game? Okay. Now, flippers. Hey, what? How do I have flippers? That's weird. Okay. That's a good sign. So, in theory now, the last part of the equation is, I guess, replacing the ringmaster magnet. So, that is going to be such a royal pain in the butt. I'm not sure how I'm gonna deal with that just yet, but that's what I gotta do. Okay, so here's the latest update. Just for fun, I thought I would play a game. First shot with the flipper, I hit the wow target, which tried to activate the machine, which caused it to reset and blow the fuse and probably take out my tip 36C transistor yet again. I thought that I had that 100% unplugged. So, yeah, anybody got a can of gas and a match? Deja vu. Removed the, in fact, shorted tip 36C yet again. I went digging around in my stash and look what I found. 8 more tip 36Cs that I can blow up. Now this might end up being a good board. Couple fuses missing. Another fuse missing. Cap replaced. And then all kinds of spaghetti going on back here. And here, something going on there. But for the sake of Cirqus Voltaire, I'm going to borrow a tip 36C, and then this will be a good backup board one day if I need. Oh, missing a bridge there, I think. But anyway, free refills. All right, everything plugged in again except this connector and the GI. Okay, hopefully nothing blows. Okay, back to square one. Now, my next goal is to raise the ringmaster to the highest position and then unbuckle him from behind and then see if I can get this magnet out and investigate it, test it, and if necessary, replace it. Okay, this is day 3 of me versus the ringmaster. And so where am I at? Got everything plugged in. I don't think I showed you this yet. So the goal is, now that the new tip 36C is installed and the fuse is not blowing, I'm going to raise the ringmaster as high as I can out of the play field. Then what I'm going to do, I thought of this morning, is spin the plastic housing that is the ringmaster, if I can. That will give me access to the nuts and bolts. If I can just spin it like 90 degrees, then I can get a driver on there, remove the ringmaster, then I can really gain access to the magnet. So only problem is now the ringmaster, oh, it's working. Oh, that's it. Yesterday it wasn't working, so today's working. Great. Okay. He is freaking cursed, I tell you. Look at this. If I can just spin this guy just enough, I think we can get at these nuts and bolts and have a look at this magnet. So, good start for round 3. Okay, so I think the trick is to turn him the other way from which I was turning him initially. That way you can get a screwdriver on the screw here, because trying to get a nut driver on the other side, there's not a lot of room to work with there. But yeah, just on a side note, if you have been watching the Viper series that I've been working on lately and wondering why I haven't posted a video in a while, it's because of this little bugger right here. I've been fighting with him. Anyway, this should be a whole friggin' tutorial how to access the ringmaster magnet if it's not already laid out in the manual. But yeah, that's the way to go. All right, I have some news to report. I have taken the ringmaster's nuts and screws off and popped the magnet out. And boys and girls, I think we found our problem. Don't know what caused that or why, but there it is, boys and girls. That is what has been causing me all of my grief. So I'll see if I have another magnet and check on these connectors and see if the male portion is any good, or if that needs to be repinned, then that'll be a little bit of a pain in the butt. Okay, I just discovered this. Check this out. This is very handy that comes out. You know, I could probably get this whole ringmaster thing off now that this is out. So that'll make life a lot easier. All right, so here is the magnet. There's the part number 20-10197. As you can see, it looks a little bulgy. That should not be the case. Interesting how this is where the main source of the heat appeared to be. Well, I guess it was here too. That's why it expanded. So here live on Pinball Shenanigans, we're going to test whether this magnet is shorted. What do y'all think? All right. Do we get a beep? Hells yes. We get a beep. This magnet is toast. My question for the world: why? Tell me why. How? How did this happen? What would cause this? I was talking with my buddy Ray, and he says perhaps the tip 36C just decided to die. And if that dies, then I guess this locks on. And if this locks on, bulges and burns happen. And when the short happens, then the fuse blows. So I have concluded now that when the game first initially reset, when I put it into the main games room, and I deemed that that was a low 5 voltage issue, and I stuck in my cardboard to resolve that, no, that was perhaps the tip 36C dying. Because remember, every time the magnet pulsed while it's shorted, it reset the game. So I have deemed that there is no reset issue. It was all a part of this, because it happened 3 times to me. Once initially, and then twice I induced it. So the fact that I did all the male and female headers, that was not really necessary. Probably did not need to happen whatsoever. But it doesn't hurt. So let's say the tip 36C decides to die, and the game at that point reset, and then this heats up, it shorts, and then it blows the F108 fuse. So that's, I think, the order of events. Basically, in hindsight, just need to replace the magnet, replace the tip 36C, maybe replace the pre-driver tip 102. Didn't need to change the headers or do the female connectors or change those diodes, but hey, I had them out, so why not? Anyway, this is shorted. This is bad. This part number here is for Bally Williams magnet coil, $35, Pinball Life. I found this coil in my stash. Different part number. So that means, from my research, that we've got a Data East Sega Stern magnet, which I don't know if it is compatible. The main difference seems that these have got long 12-inch leads. These initially come with 6-inch leads. So I don't know if that's the only difference. I can see what the ohms on this is supposed to be and measure the ohms on this and see if it matches. If that's the case, then we should be in business in by tonight. So I'm going to do a little more research. I'll be back. All right, let's explore this magnet a little further. I took off the paper that was on it, and this component was wrapped inside of it, and that is actually what was causing the bulge. Otherwise, it is not bulged. So I cut it out of the circuit. I don't know what the F it is. 130 volt, 85 amp fuse or something. So, for fun, with this out of the circuit, maybe this is the part that was shorted and maybe the magnet is fine. But we're going to find out right now here, once again live on Pinball Shenanigans. Okay. Let's just make sure I'm in beep. Yep, I'm in beep. Okay, here we go. Let's see if the magnet is actually shorted. Oh shit, it sure is. Wait a minute. Does that prove that it's shorted? This is just a big winding of wire, right? So, does the other one do the same thing? Let's see here. Let's get our green lead there, and then, yeah, see, this brand new magnet is doing the same thing. So, maybe beep test is not the test we got to perform. Maybe I got to check ohms. Okay, maybe this will be more telling. I can tell you that this is 5.5 ohms. So, let's see what happens when I do this. Wait. No, that's wrong. I got too many wires here. This guy's going, yeah, that's where I got to go. 7 ohms. 6.9 ohms. That seems like a good reading. So did I just hack this thing completely apart unnecessarily then? Is it just... I mean, that doesn't look like that would be causing a short. I don't know, man. I don't know what it all means. Okay, so I was trying to find out what ohms this is supposed to be. Didn't say in the manual. So I borrowed the juggler magnet. Exact same part number. And relatively easy to access. So let's see what happens live here on Pinball Shenanigans. If this beeps. Alright, are we in beep test? Let's make sure. Yeah, okay. If this doesn't beep, it does beep. So that doesn't mean it's shorted. But let's see what the ohms is supposed to be. What? Going all ohm crazy. Why don't you just give me a reading? Maybe my connectors are not on very good. Oh, here we go. It's starting to stabilize. 6.8. Okay. So perhaps this magnet is actually okay. Because watch. You need to see it with your own eyes too, because otherwise I won't trust myself. What? Come on now. Oh, wait, wrong wire. This one goes here, and this one goes here. Didn't need to change both. Look at that, 6.8 ohms. These magnets test practically identical. So if the magnet's not the issue, then, I mean, this thing has to be. There's nothing left in the equation. There better not be anyways. Okay, so this middle piece, this big post, actually was able to spin off, which allowed me to take off ringy, which allowed me to gain access to the connector. And by some small miracle, with my tool, I was able to remove the possibly burnt pin, but looking at it closely, it looks fine to me. So I don't think I'm going to replace that. This housing is a little bit toasty, but I think it's actually fine. So what I'm going to do is put everything back together. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to plug in the juggler magnet in here, and then we're going to run the test and see if I can blow my tip 36C for the 4th time. Okay, 3 days have culminated in this possible moment here. Possible moment of success. But, man, I'm not getting my hopes up. So I've got Ringmaster's skeleton here. I've got the magnet hooked up. I've got it zip tied so that the wires aren't going to get caught and cause me some new problems. Knock on wood. So we're going to turn it on. Got the balls in. Shut the coin door. Make sure we got our voltage. And pray nothing blows, nothing resets, nothing shorts, etc., etc. Here goes nothing. No fuse blowing upon startup. That's good. And as soon as Ringmaster starts trying to find his home position, this is scary. Okay. Find home. You stay. Okay, that's fine. Yep, that's right. That's right. Okay. Shit. Here we go. Let's hit the start button. So far, so good. Let's hit the flippers. Yay, we have flippers. That's exciting. All right, this is it. Please, 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 please don't reset. What? Oh my god, it fucking happened again. What in the royal F? Okay, that's it. I give for now. I thought that I was just going to persist until I solved the problem, and that would be the end of the video. But this video is dragging on for so long now that I must put an end to it. Replaced yet another tip 36C, yet another fuse, and I just have to wrap up this video. I've got to do some more digging and try and figure out what is going on, because I'm at a bit of a loss right now. So I made a post in Pinball Repair Help Group. I'll let that simmer for a while, and then I'll be back, Ringmaster. I will be back, and I will win this battle. Maybe.